Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another video after a very long break. I bought a 65-inch Sansui 4K TV around a year ago, and I made 2 videos about it. I recently moved to a new place, and I was looking for a new TV for my bedroom. I was quite happy when I saw that the cheapest option available was another Sansui. At 226 Canadian dollars plus tax, it seems like a great deal on paper, but how is it in real life? Let's find out. Please consider subscribing so I can make more videos. Sansui isn't the Japanese brand that it once used to be. It's now owned by an ODM called Express Luck, which also owns a company called Caixun. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. In the box, you get the TV itself, 2 feet, 1 remote control, and an interesting looking warranty card. I say interesting because it looks like a warranty card that you get with a $20 Bluetooth speaker. To be fair, at least if you get it from Amazon, I doubt you'll need this card. The TV is well built, especially compared to the 65-inch model. It has a unibody frame, which means that there won't be any light leaking through the joints and you won't see any exposed screws. The frame is plastic, which is understandable at this price point. The bezels are quite thin, and it shows how far we've come in the last decade or so. Just for comparison, look at the bezels on this 42-inch LG TV. On the bottom, we have the Sansui logo, but no physical buttons. This is good. I don't like seeing physical buttons exposed like that. Something I found odd is that the IR receiver as well as the power LED is on an extension piece. One thing we're used to seeing in cheaper TVs is this 2 feet setup. They do this because if they were to go for 1 foot in the middle, it means that they would need to make the frame more rigid. My girlfriend has a 58-inch RCA TV, and it's no coincidence that they look really similar. I learned recently that some RCA TVs are also manufactured by Express Luck. Just like the 65-incher, it comes with a Bluetooth-enabled remote that also has a microphone. This is a nice plus. On the other hand, I don't think it looks great, and its build quality isn't great either. First up, I don't need this QC Pass sticker. Secondly, compare it with a Sony home theater remote or an LG TV remote and you see the difference. At least there are buttons for Netflix and YouTube. In terms of ports, you get 3 HDMI 2.0 ports, 2 USB 2.0 ports, 1 optical audio out jack, 1 antenna jack, 1 Ethernet port, 1 composite port, as well as a 3.5mm audio jack. As it's a 4K 60Hz TV, you don't need HDMI 2.1 as HDMI 2.0 is capable of transmitting video at 4K 60Hz. Before we talk about the image and the sound quality, let's talk about its best selling point. The fact that it's an Android TV. Although they don't exist in North America, there are some smart TVs out there that have Android. The difference between those and this one is that those don't have the license for 4K Netflix or the full suite of Google apps. So although they're marketed as smart, they're not actually smart. Fortunately, that's not the case with this TV. This has the full Android TV experience. It has Android 9.0 installed as well as built-in Chromecast. The initial setup takes around 10 minutes, and the hardest part is when you have to put in your password for Google account and the Wi-Fi password. Yes, if you want to use this TV as a smart TV, and if you want to download any apps that aren't already installed on it, you need a Google account. This might be a deal breaker for some. I personally don't have a problem with it. There are a lot of apps available on the Play Store, and if by any chance you need an app that's not on the Play Store, you can always sideload them. One thing I like about the Android TV experience is that if you have more than 1 Android TV, the second you set up the second one, it downloads all your apps. When I first got my 65-incher, I had to use a third-party app to use my phone as a remote control. However, Google recently implemented this feature themselves, and it works like a charm through the Google Home app. Just one quick note, every now and then you need to re-authenticate. Aside from that, I found it to be working really well, especially when you're typing something. It also has built-in Chromecast, which comes in handy if you want to mirror a Chrome tab or the screen of your Android phone. Honestly, for anything else, there is an app available on the Play Store. While it doesn't natively support AirPlay, there is an app on the Play Store called AirScreen that allows you to do it. One quick note with that is that if you want to stream something through Netflix or Prime Video or anything that's digitally protected, you won't be able to use AirScreen for it. This isn't a huge problem for me as there are already apps for those on the Play Store, but in case you wanted to do that, just keep it in mind. I have a legal IPTV subscription and there is a fantastic app for it available on the Play Store. Similarly, to play media content, I really recommend VLC, which is also available on the Play Store. This lineup of TVs received one update in the last year, which fixed a lot of small issues that I had with it. Sometimes the TV wouldn't turn on at all unless you unplugged and replugged it. Not anymore. Netflix used to glitch sometimes. Not anymore. With the new update, I found these TVs to be quite snappy, and interestingly, I also found the 43-incher to be snappier than the 65-incher. I don't know why, they have the same hardware, but maybe the 43-incher is just better calibrated. Speaking of hardware, it is a 1.4 GHz 4-core processor, 1.5 GB of RAM, and 8 GB of storage. It also has Wi-Fi AC and Bluetooth 5.0. In the TV world, these specs are barely passable. Unfortunately, unless you want to pay a lot more, these are the specs you get. One issue I have with these specs is the Bluetooth chip. While I like the fact that it has Bluetooth 5.0 and it works with the remote as well as earbuds and everything, I found the coverage to be quite weak due to the antenna. My 65-incher is placed a little bit further away from the couch and is hung on the wall, and from where I stand, the remote won't connect to the TV. And I know for a fact that the remote isn't the problem because my earbuds do the same thing. Budget TVs tend to cheap out on speakers as it's not something you can immediately test at a store. My girlfriend's RCA TV has horrible speakers and she actually had to get a soundbar. This TV on the other hand has 2x10 watt speakers and it supports Dolby Audio. While it's not mind-blowing in any way, shape or form, I found the speakers to be perfectly serviceable as TV speakers. When I moved to my new place, I went for a second-hand shopping spree and I ended up getting a home theater system for my bedroom, so I don't really use the speakers of the TV. Weirdly, even if the TV is an optical audio out jack, the sound format by default is set to stereo. So if you have a home theater setup like I do, you should change it from stereo to automatic at least. And lastly, the image quality. Unlike the 65-inch version, I was not able to find any details about the panel manufacturer. All I know is that it's a VA panel, it has a contrast ratio of 3000:1 and a peak brightness of 380 nits. While it has HDR10, you won't be able to take full advantage of it as the peak brightness is just not high enough. Unfortunately, at this price point, it doesn't get much better. When you get this TV, it comes in energy saving mode. Change it immediately. Go to standard or any other setting as the energy saving mode dims the backlight. Secondly, take the time to actually tweak the settings and to calibrate the screen, as out of the box, it's said everywhere that the colors aren't accurate. Moreover, I think the reason why I couldn't find the panel manufacturer is that they use different manufacturers. This is common among TVs, but this also means that you won't directly be able to apply presets that you find online. Once calibrated, I found the image quality to be quite good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert, but compared to my Vizio, which was a 4K, or my old LG, which is 1080p, I found the colors to be better. That being said, I had a hard time calibrating the red. Even now, some faces on the TV look like they just came out of the tanning salon. It can be fixed though. Overall, I've said this before and I'll say it again, we don't necessarily buy TVs by looking at their panels. We care more about their smart features, because most of what we consume is quick content on Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video, etc. And for those, which are heavily compressed, you're not gonna get that big of an image difference between a budget TV like the Sansui and a $2,000 Sony TV. Moreover, I believe that the image quality difference between a budget TV and a super expensive one has greatly diminished in the last decade or so. 10 years ago, there used to be a huge difference in quality between a Sony, LG, Philips, etc. TV and a budget one. As a result, to an average customer, image quality isn't as important as how smart a TV is. This Sansui excels at that, as Android TVs is as smart as TVs go. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking this video if you liked it, checking out my other videos, and subscribing to my channel. Take care.